The data that I'm about to present to you in this altcoin video, particularly Ethereum and Cardano, it's just data. But the specific data is the data that's driving me to be one of those crazy ones out there. The ones that just think that the altcoin bull market has not started yet. And with an inflow of capital and liquidity, altcoins are primed like never before. But that's all this is. It's my view on the data. Anything can happen. I have my risk positioned in a way where if it doesn't happen, that's okay. But I want to present this data to you. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. Let's jump into the video. I'm going to start with Ethereum charts. I found just some really crazy data in terms of Ethereum on the zoomed in, overlaid with macro data. And then I want to look at ADA in particular, an ADA risk model that I actually posted on X a little bit earlier. So let's start. Let's start with Ethereum. What I want to just first make a note of, and then we're really going to dive into the weeds here, is if you've been watching my channel, you know I've been tracking Ethereum. And by the way, I'm not this Ethereum bull. You all know that. But I'm incredibly interested in the Ethereum charts because I think this is a very nice visualization of altcoin bull market. That is to say, when Ethereum makes the move, it's going to be such a nice indicator for altcoins, particularly smaller cap altcoins, which is like everything compared to Ethereum. This symmetrical triangle on Ethereum right now, we've been tracking, and it feels like it's been so long, just the potential for this pullback. The reason why I've been tracking a pullback is because oftentimes, whether it's a breakout to the upside or downside, we get throwbacks to the triangle and we get pullbacks to the triangle. This is what could lead to a busted pattern here. And that is a fake out to the downside, pull back into the apex, and then the bull market, right? And this ends up being a bullish move because right now, right here, it looks very bearish. I've been waiting for that move. What I wanted to show you is something that I noticed on the bull bear arena. This is a new CCV Intelligence system indicator tool. It's a very zoomed in tool. This is a very kind of momentum based tool, and it just gives you an idea who's in charge, what's going on. Right now we're neutral on Ethereum. And I was looking at this, and this can be very useful on the short term when we're really evaluating this. And you can just see the mess that Ethereum has been in for months. The bulls finally now just kind of stepping in. But this isn't what I actually want to talk about in relation to this indicator. I go to max on this chart and things get kind of crazy. But I like doing this even on, zoomed out momentum oscillators, even that are quicker moving, for instance, or zoomed out charts. I like to spot on any type of chart. I like to spot patterns. And I'm looking at these bears on this bull bear arena, just absolutely just in charge and dominating in this entire downtrend. And it's obvious on the chart that that has been the case, right? But I'm going back and I'm looking at just bottoming out areas on the Ethereum chart here. And I looked back here to 2016, going into January 2017, Ethereum looking absolutely helpless at this moment, if you just look at that. And then all of a sudden, as it was at its worst ever, it was off to the races. And it just entered this parabolic move into the bull market. The similarities on this bull bear arena chart from a visualization perspective are very clear to me. But then I went to the Ethereum chart and I said, okay, on the macro, what's happening back here on Ethereum? And this is going to play in heavily into why I think altcoin season is getting ready to absolutely explode. And we're going to look at the Ethereum risk model as well. But here's what's happening on Ethereum. Right here, we were zoomed in, right, on the bull bear arena. We saw what the bears in charge look like in this entire dip, very similar to this entire dip back here, Ethereum looking helpless. Look at the momentum oscillator on the RSI. I know we've seen this before, right? Like Ethereum is oversold like it was in 2022 bear market low. It's oversold like it was in 2018 bear market low. But this data point back here, this is the 2016 swing low. And this becomes very interesting now because we have the convergence of macro and micro zoomed in, but then we have the ETH BTC macro. Another picture of just how absolutely destroyed Ethereum looks. Look how destroyed Ethereum looked back here. I'm not saying in the short term that Ethereum might not go lower. It could. We all have to obviously manage our risks in terms of altcoins and Bitcoin dominance continuing to the upside. We have to prepare for anything. But right now, as we wait kind of for a shift, a pivot, whether that's Fed monetary pivot, whether that's tariff, all the tariff war stuff coming to a close, coming to an end, M2 money supply, and the increased global liquidity, all of these things could very quickly turn bullish. All three of these things that I'm mentioning. And guess what? Altcoins, in my view, are prepared more than Bitcoin for extreme gains. I'm not saying Bitcoin won't see gains. I just think altcoins will have their run, and I think they will outperform Bitcoin. So this is becoming very clear on the Ethereum charts that Ethereum is in this very similar state of just absolute depression, and it's looking very bad. But one thing that we've noted, whether it's on this ETH BTC chart, whether it's on this ETH USD chart, price chart, or the momentum oscillator here, or if it's on this chart, and this is the zoomed in bull bear arena, bears and bulls right now duking it out, but bears have been in control. One thing is true when we look at all these charts. It usually looks absolutely terrible before all of a sudden Ethereum wakes up. And I think more convincingly so is if we go to the risk model over here on Ethereum. Let me just open up this risk model because it's ridiculous. I mean, it's even crazier than the Cardano risk model that we're about to look at. But look at the risk model. And by the way, everybody, we're in stealth launch right now. All of these tools, including our exit planner, it's available out there. People are finding the link, 50% off right now. I'm not running hardcore with the launch, but it's out there if you're interested in getting these tools. Here's the Ethereum long-term risk model that we've created. This is completely proprietary. I call it kind of like, it's like the emotion remover. That's what this is. And going into this bull market, and this is a huge reason why I put this together, me and the team, is because this is so important for me. It is time to remove emotion now. Don't wait until we get into overbought, crazy, extreme risk of 100 to start trying to figure out to make decisions. Make the decisions now. So our risk models, they're like a multi-layered system. It's built with proprietary risk algorithms. It has cycle theory integrated into it, price, volatility, volume, all that good stuff. So what I want to mention with Ethereum is it's at a 24 right now. So if you're looking at Ethereum zoomed out, just look. I mean, even most recently, 14 on risk. These are like bear market low numbers, right? And we're still down in that area in the 20s. Look at Ethereum, and Ethereum is very nice as an altcoin because it has like the most historical data, but we're talking, check out the 2016 move we were just looking at, 21. Look at this. It is 18. This is exactly almost what just happened with Ethereum right now on this risk model. And then look what happened. It goes into the bull market. This is what a bull market looks like in terms of our risk model, not 2 cycles ago, but even last cycle. And right now, it has not happened yet. This is one of the most clear indicators that an altcoin bull market has not happened yet. This risk model right here on Ethereum. Now, that's Ethereum. I want to go over to Cardano and talk a little bit about Cardano. I posted this a little bit earlier on X. It's not that there's a lot left of the Cardano bull market. It's that the Cardano bull market hasn't even started. So like that whole concept I just talked about in terms of Ethereum, but the same is true for ADA. So brand new CCV ADA risk model looking primed. What's crazy to me, and this is showing, I would say, Cardano is so primed, but it's clearly outperforming even Ethereum. Look at Ethereum risk is 24. It's lower than than ADA right now. ADA's at 37, which is still, in my view, if we're looking at this chart from a zoomed out perspective, this is a very nice area in terms of risk. It's not, bear market territory almost like we just saw in Ethereum. That was around 15 for ADA, but still, this is, as I discussed in another video, this is like pre-bull market area. What I wanted to talk about with Cardano, because I know I mentioned this before, all this consolidation right here is very similar, especially from a risk level area of what we saw back here before the last parabolic move. So similarities on the Cardano risk model, similarities on the Ethereum risk model in previous pre-bull market moves. But what I really wanted to mention in terms of Cardano is kind of trying to anticipate the potential for a bull move for altcoins. What does that look like on Cardano? And this is what I'm going to start doing, is kind of setting risk alerts here. And I spotted as I was looking at this, and I want to study things more, but I was looking at this earlier and I was like, back here and even back here 2 cycles ago, you can just see, it's sitting down here, the risk model around 30, in the 30s, sound familiar? And then all of a sudden it just explodes quite quickly to the 50s, upper 50s, 60. That 50s, upper 50s, 60 is like and I mean very pre-bull market number, because right there it's happening, right? You see it, 59, boom, consolidating, 50s, 60, and then boom, parabolic, right? And then if you go back and you look at last cycle, that was 2 cycles ago, very similar. Bottoming out in the 30s. This is kind of more where we are right now. All of a sudden, there's the 50s. It's consolidating, 40s, 40s, 50s, and then boom, we're entering the 50s. That whole thing of entering the 50s, getting into that 60 area on risk, that's going to be a very compelling area for me to start really raising my eyebrow for a Cardano bull market. And I wanted to bring that up now because I need to set my risk alerts. I thought I might have, but either way, the reason why this is important is because we have our exit planner here in the CCV Intelligence system, and you can go in here and you can just create strategies, right? You can create your exits. And right now, this is just a Bitcoin demo type of exit strategy. But you can go over to ADA charts and you can just start planning your exits in terms of ADA. Right now, you can just see how when you're planning your exits, you can have all of your sells just put across on the charts, and then it'll tell you your total gains. The reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because as we're talking about risk and the potential for ADA to enter this new environment of getting close to a bull market, we have our risk mode, which is coming soon. So not only will you be able to kind of visualize your exit strategy and set it and save it according to price, but you're going to be able to use the Cardano risk models or any of these altcoins that are in our list. There's a bunch so far. You're going to be able to use these. And this is what I'm so locked in on right now, everybody. I'm going to be talking about this a lot. This is why I built these tools. I know a lot of people, they don't take enough profits. Even last cycle, I did not take enough profit. I took profits last cycle. I didn't take enough. And I think so many people kind of relate to that. Like, man, you just kind of think it's going to keep going. Well, that's why we have our kind of emotion remover right here. You can see how Cardano is very much potentially setting up for a bull run. And right now is the time to plan. Right now is the time to visualize, is to study the data on the macro, to put the plan, to set the plan, and it's unemotional. So when it's happening, you're like, it's already locked in. If you go to ADA on the weekly chart, we're going to continue to do analysis on these charts. Right now, the bull market doors for Cardano sitting just above 70 cents, that 200-week moving average, just waiting for the move. It might not happen. It might not happen even this week, next week, in the shorter term. So continued just tracking price on ADA, altcoins. We might have to go lower. We might have to test a higher low for something like ADA. Swing low to swing high so far. We still have a higher low Fibonacci at 60 cents down to around 56 cents. I don't like saying it, but it's in play. If ADA fails all at this area right now, you can see it right between the 50-day moving average and the 20-day moving average. Let's see who wins, the bulls or the bears. Speaking of, if we go to our bull bear arena on Cardano, one thing I just want to point out, maybe it's some short-term caution, maybe it's not, I don't know. This is just one indicator, but you can see bulls and bears duking it out. We don't have one way or another in terms of who's winning this short-term battle between those moving averages, but it's going to be interesting to see which direction this ticks next on the short term. So these are my thoughts today, everybody. Again, 50% off if you want to start kind of diving into this. It's a very slow stealth launch, but everybody, we got some people in there, and this system is going to be built out very extensively. So hit the subscribe if you're out there and you're not a subscriber. If you enjoyed this content, please consider hitting that like button. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.